Hello, everybody. Welcome to this presentation. I'm delighted to introduce Brett, who is the CTO and co-founder of Cardea Bio, and he's going to give us a talk on integrating biology into modern electronics. We will be taking questions at the end, so please do post some questions in the sidebar, and I will pop up at the end of Brett's presentation and we will answer your questions. Over to you, Brett.
Hi, thanks. Wonderful to be here. So Cardea is a bit of an interesting company here. So we've coexisted with a lot of folks that I've seen on the TechBlick platform during the session. Really happy to see a lot of our collaborators here. I consider us kind of the tip of the spear in graphene commercialization. We're really trying to serve end user markets, people who don't necessarily care whether or not the product is graphene or contains graphene. They want to know what it does. And we try and push products all the way out to use. So I'm going to talk a bit about how that's going, and talk about how we're actually linking electronics to biology through the use of graphene transistors, the kinds of devices that you might have seen throughout the day here. Let me get my presentation moving here. So one of the key things to understand is how biologists see biology, how we as scientists see biology, and really, to understand biology, we have to understand it in context. And that's something that we don't do today. We have to understand biology as multi-omics, continuous real-time data streams, and not just single omics snapshots of data sets. That's the core thought, the core philosophy behind what we're trying to do at Cardea. So if you look at a cell and you look at the size of light and nucleic acids, and you try and see kind of what's going on here. This is what we currently use in biology to interrogate interactions going on. We use light waves to interrogate cells, proteins, and DNA, but you can see they're all different size scales. And it's kind of incredible that you could use a light wave to actually interact with protein or DNA. And in fact, it doesn't work very well. And so what we do is we either duplicate the DNA through something like PCR into horrendously high concentrations. We strip out a bunch of useful information about the context of where that DNA lives. And onto proteins, we attach these enormous labels, which when you're a nanotechnologist and you go to do something like AFM, you find out from your biology colleagues they've got this giant label on there and everything's thrown off. The same thing happens, the same kind of thought of like, oh, gee, you've put this giant thing on there happens with the understanding of biological context, the understanding of how biology works with other pieces of biology, the thought that this duplication of DNA or adding labels to proteins represents what's really happening. Certainly there's heroic efforts that have made this work, but I think that as science evolves, we can do much better than this. So one of the unfortunate side effects of the current technical approach to understanding biology is that it's divided biology into these different disciplines: genomics, proteomics, cell biology, missing the context of how everything works. Makes analysis difficult. We're doing everything that we can so that humans can clearly see a difference between colors or something like that. There's not a good way to use the advances in, say, artificial intelligence and data processing that are out there in terms of analyzing biological data sets. This is a huge topic of biology, how to better use analysis techniques. And again, the single snapshot versus real-time dynamic interaction. So what we're doing is we're trying to connect biology to electronics. Here's what we mean by that. So we start with the idea of a digital network. This is how we're able to do this wonderful conference, where I can talk to you. I'm in California, and the rest of you are all over the world. We're talking in real time. It's a global network. It's near instant. It's complex, human engineered, easy to interface with, right? So I can talk to you. I just open a web page, start presenting. Biological networks are in topography very similar to digital networks. They're also the same sort of complex shape, but they're hyper local.